All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to attempt to do a little record, opening morning session, trade session, see if we can't get this computer not to explode. All right, so if you watched the YouTube yesterday, we said watch for under yesterday's close. Now we had a 1 minute gap at open at futures, and we wanted to see yesterday's close become resistance. Anything under 21,420 area there was going to be downsided per our call on YouTube. So if we come into the trend that we had formed after such call, you can see that under that VWAP right there, break in the purple all the way down, had a beautiful downside. Then we had one big old relief pop, right? So when we drop down to the 1 minute chart here, we're going to see a couple different areas of interest for longs and shorts. As we kind of came into the volume weighted average price, right? And the 666 1 minute, we got some good resistance. We are obviously on a full run with no pullbacks at all. Nice little algo driven pop up. And that led us to here. So we usually look for three patterns, right? So we had a flush start here. So we had that one move, two move, three move. Now you don't need a lower low on the third. It's always just lower high. So we completed the three. Now we're looking for that gap to be either open or closed. We don't know if that's going to hold or not, but we're looking to complete the three down. Of course, the 5 minute also has that three down here because the market loves to move in threes. So resistance one, resistance two, resistance three. Now, again, we have three lower highs here. We're just seeing if it wants to do one more lower low or if we build off pattern to the upside to complete our call, right? So NQ had a really good setup. Where did those fibs come from? Well, again, if you watched the YouTube, we went back, picked up a couple. This one right here was a 15-minute high low, and this was a very big GP watch. Now, if you look at the Fibonacci here, as long as we had stayed under, which here's your fib box, up to the 1618, up to the 2618, opened into resistance yesterday, which we called the tippity top for GP, which we did not hit. We missed it by about a dollar. Came down, broke the 1618, back tested the 100, typical, up this morning. And again, anything under yesterday's close, which is the 1618 of the Fibonacci in question as well, was the provided short move. We hit the GP and bounced it. Awesome. Now, this is a pretty big over under spot. We got some more stuff to worry about on Qs, but the 1 minute gap below should not be forgotten. So we're going to move to the Q side of things here. Same old setup as always. And the golden pocket over under yesterday's lows doesn't really require a gap and go to the downside, but we'll talk about what we want to see today. So as we moved into the big bounce here in that pre, we noted in Discord, we nailed that GP here, 5 minute 200 SMA as well. So we have an opportunity to see a break of that, right? Coming back, holding, getting to the GP. That would be number one. That's because of SPY, which we'll go over next. But right now, the QQQ has a really big over under yesterday's lows. We're going to see if we can get the pop to resistance. And maybe today, maybe tomorrow, we're still going to look for the short target down here at 514. We have that weekly golden pocket, which is just last week's high low. That starts at 514.13. So that's going to be a short target magnet after we push into the GP, hopefully. If not, we're going to watch for trend build under yesterday's lows to take us down. We do have the 514 and 2 cent open gap as well on the minute chart. Now we're going to go into SPY here. This is going to be our most important thing, like always. All right, so SPY, same exact jam. Yesterday's lows, blue dashed line right there. And we're going to look for those live tags up or down. Right now, we're in a three down, and we have a couple interesting markers if we get over yesterday's lows to push up. Now, let's start on ES because we're all going to do futures here. Always trading the futures off the SPY. All right, so here's our 1 minute play. Now, I posted that long move that we went off of here, right, all the way up to VWAP, and we said we're probably going to get some static resistance there. No idea what my mouse is doing there. And then we're looking for that three down still, same. But more importantly, notice right here on the right panel, we've marked off a triple gap area, 5937, 5946, 5953. There are three 1 minute gaps open. So if I go to the 1 minute chart here, they're all overlaid with the drawings, but our indicator right here showing you gap, gap, gap. Now, one of these in the middle is filled here, but we have another one that I do want to Let's delete this for, I'll just move it up here for now. I do want you guys to understand this one right here, and this is why this might be a pretty precious level, okay? So when you zoom in, this is a part of our video for hidden algorithms here, but we actually found it on the 1 minute, not the 15 second. Notice the gap right here on the 1 minute chart, lays over perfectly to the 1 minute, lays over perfectly to the 1 minute. There are three gaps within a point, point and a half right here on ES's minute chart, all in line with each other. It doesn't matter if they're filled or not, they're in line. There's another gap way up here with another one close but not overlapping like we see here. These triple overlap gaps are going to be premium levels, which means this whole level right here is going to be a very important watch to see any kind of over under once we get up there. Now, that's not a long call or anything like that. I just want you guys to pay very close attention to those 1 minute gaps. Especially when they're overlaid. So this just under 59.50, this 59.45, 46 area, that's going to be a very, very, very strong level. Okay. All right, back to business here. The first gap we have closest to us is 59.37.50. Now, again, we have three gaps to that upside that are not filled. Let's move this one back down where it belongs quick before we forget. When we have this many gaps, we expect at least one of those legs to fill. So we called the long down here, 59.17 area, ran it up about 15 points or so, give or take. We wanted to see 59.35, but of course, shied it by about a point, got a profit stop. Perfect. Whatever. We're up 4 grand. Now we're looking for the three down again to complete, as we discussed in the first part of the video here. Three down is going to complete. 5 minute, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And regardless if it makes a lower low or just does the three lower highs, right? We're going to look for that structure to start building. And our long target is still going to be the 1 minute gap here, 59.37.50. Now, from where we're at right now, that is 18 points. Now, now we move back into the SPY, which is going to be our most important ticker to watch at the open here, 18 points. That means $1.80. So from here, $1.80 puts us right here where that first gap is. Second gap is even higher. So we have a really good magnet setup, and we also have a 1 minute gap open from yesterday. So here is a 1 minute gap unfilled because this is live trading. This is after hours trading. So the 1 minute gap is right here, 591.8 cents. That comes in just shy of the golden pocket. So we have more than one thing, probably about five things right now, with a very strong algo magnet telling us that above yesterday's lows, right, and trending above the volume weighted average price, VWAP right here in the purple, that would be netting us an opportunity to hold and get up to here. So green sentiment means right here, anything over yesterday's lows. And I'm going to be watching VWAP as well for that support to build play and shoot us back up here. We have the 1 minute gap, ES gaps, triple, GP, everything looking really good for that magnet to come back up as long as we get our trend formation. Now, again, nothing goes in a straight line, and this is why the algos of 3 up and 3 down exist. We hit right here, 587.85. That's the golden pocket that we still need a tag of last week, right? Remember 2 days ago prior open, we shied that bad boy. This is the first candle open, 588.09. Did we hit this? Definitely not, right? So we look back here on those on that. Then again, that's Friday. So we got Monday, Tuesday. We got the crazy wick range there. That was that last little ender there where we had a potential to come into it, right? And we didn't do it. So we do have strong magnets to the downside as well because this weekly right here it comes in, that's going to be a really strong magnet. We also have a 1 minute gap there in the QQQ very close to here as well. So there is a very strong sense for downside. So that's why we're using an over under of yesterday's lows. So if we are above the VWAP yesterday's lows, we will track down that long, which I'll look for first because we have a triple gap system on ES. We have a 1 minute gap here on SPY. We haven't really seen very good conclusive evidence that these gap systems are holding their weight like gold, like they used to in the Trump market, right? So we do got to be very careful of that. NQ still has that gap open around 21,281, and we're still in a 3 down, right? So that weekly bounce goes up 1, 2, 3. Then it can do whatever it wants at open. Now, here's the choice. Is it going to pop back up to yesterday's lows, fill the gap, and then attempt? Or are we going to come back down to here first and then look for a reverse maybe? Well, we don't know. It's all left for the open. So we're out of all trades. We're chilling at the $4,000 green from the pre-market call up. And that's that. So we're going to get into your targets now. And that's just going to be over under yesterday's lows. And the sentiment pretty much shifts them on chart. So you're going to have that T1 short right here. and your T1 long up here. And the T1 long is going to be just a little shorter. And again, I'm leaned a little bit more to that long side. And of course, mark off your T1s here with ES as well. And I just want to see the upside. It's a one and done kind of trade day here. We might get a lot of range today. Might be some hidden tweets coming out, which we don't know about. But there we go. So if we, or I should say when we base, because again, we kind of broke through that 100 EMA here, finally came for the back test. Same with the VWAP, broke through here, came for the back test. So it needs to relax. It can't just go in a straight line all the way up, right? Can it? Well, sure. Is the probability there? Not really. So the three down that we had called here from VWAP 1, 2, 3, let it do its thing. I don't care. And then, of course, back to that T1 long is the first watch. And NQ gap is the definitive support we're kind of watching for. So if you go back here to end the spiel for the pre-market, we're going to look for this right here. Oh, we're almost there now. So that's that gap fill we're talking about on the three down again. 1, 2, and 3. And we love pattern plays. Now, again, like we said, we don't really need a new lower low, but because we have a gap magnet right here, why not? So we're going to see that fill, and we're going to watch for the build long back up because this whole move side up needs a relax on 3. Come back up, break structure, continue up. And last but not least, we do have an NQ gap open. If you did not see it way up here, make sure to chart that off. I got it on my other charts. And it will also, it has all inline gaps right here. So again, same instance as ES, and this general area just under 21,400 is going to be a massive, massive mover once we get up there. It's going to be a really big support and resistance. Might even be a really strong magnet as we get into the day to see any kind of strength. So again, over under yesterday's lows on the Qs, over under yesterday's lows on the SPY. Watch for those ES tag targets. That is the morning breakdown.